The Paris Climate Finance Summit has come to an end after 2 days of hectic parleys, but the bulk of discussions revolved around helping poorer and developing nations tackle climate change. International summits are a place where a lot of promises are made, heavily shrouded in difficult to understand diplomatic language. The Paris Summit was no different. For the benefit of our viewers, we break down the 5 big takeaways from the summit. The first big takeaway is that rich countries have pooled $100 billion for poor countries to deal with climate-related disasters. Now, poor countries can access the fund through the IMF. The second key takeaway is that countries are likely to test a debt repayment pause for countries struggling with climate disasters. This is in a bid to provide relief to countries from accumulating debt. The discrepancy between what rich countries promise and what they do in reality, that remained a sore point at Paris Summit here. Rich countries have promised to spend $100 billion each year on green projects in developing countries, but only $83 billion have been spent so far. In fact, there was no timeline provided on how rich countries will fulfill their goals. At the summit, French President Macron spoke about a prospective global tax which will finance the fight against climate change. The tax, he said, can be imposed on shipping, aviation, or even financial transactions. However, the chances of such a tax are dim at this point. And finally, there was a lot of big-ticket announcements. Zambia reached a long-awaited agreement to restructure $6.3 billion of debt with bilateral lenders. Senegal secured $2.7 billion to grow its renewable capacity to 40% of its energy mix by 2030. The World Bank announced an investment lab which will seek to increase private sector funding in emerging markets for renewables and energy infrastructure. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.